That's awesome.
If that answers your question.
Yeah. No, that makes sense because you don't want to have a team full of Dustin Martins.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. Well, it would be very, very cool to watch, but for the group, it would be it'd probably be
high scoring game because no
either end.
Defending.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
Rick Charlesworth is not a stranger to the podcast. He's been mentioned a few times. We obviously played under him as a coach. What was kind of the key takeaways from his coaching that have helped you to be the player you are today?
Yeah. He was very intimidating. It took me probably 2 or 3 years to even say hello to the guy.
Yeah. Right.
But I think his presence just demanded the utmost of quality that every time that, and that's no different now. The coaches expect everyone to be able to trap a ball now. I just think the way that he coached and the way that he went about things was, you're going to give me 100% every single time. And for some players that worked, and for some players it didn't. And it certainly didn't for me at the start. I said at the start, I just couldn't give 100% every time because I wasn't up to the speed of the game. I was probably not as fit as some of the guys, and that's probably where it led to me and for Rick giving me a little bit of a kick up the bum, saying like, you've got to go away and work on these things. But when I came back, I certainly, believed that his message was correct, and I went, like I said before, I went away and worked really hard and was able to compete a lot more than what I had done in the past, coming in as a younger guy. So the way that he coached was really direct, and thinking back the times that we were really successful under Rick, which was pretty much 98% of the time, was his game plan was go and get the ball. No matter where it was, go and get it and win it back. And they can't score with the ball. Well, without the ball, sorry. And so we would press. And the game of hockey has changed a little bit since Rick's been gone with the quarters now, and guys can play a lot longer. But talking about probably the 2014 World Cup, where it resonates a lot, was half game, like 35-minute halves, where guys from the other team couldn't play. And sometimes we couldn't either with the heat or the way it was, but it's pretty difficult to run out 35 minutes without having a break. But the way that Rick was able to, I guess, select the team to be able to put pressure on the other team to win the ball back. We think of that 14 World Cup, we only had 3 goals against us for the 8 games we played, and like 35 goals for, and we ended up winning the final like 6-0 against a team that you look on paper and go, this is going to be a really, really exciting game of hockey. But the constant pressure that we were able to put on each team every time, I think that was Rick's way of playing. And again, the game's changed a little bit because you only need to run out 15 minutes now and you can have a break. So the tactics of international hockey have changed a little bit, but the way that he had his game plans and everything, and everyone bought into that. We knew that if we were going to do it, we were going to be the best in the world at it, and certainly were. Yeah,
that seems a common theme when most people talk about him, is like everyone bought into like whenever he says something, everyone just listened.
Yeah,
was there anything that he did differently? Like, was it just because he was so manic, like so hard on everyone that they just listened?
Yeah, I think that his demeanour and the way he went about things, and it's hard for me to comment because he was the first coach, so I never knew anything kind of before Rick. I had club hockey back, but it's completely different. Like it's irrelevant to compare the two of them because it's just not worth comparing them. So I never really had anyone to compare to Rick. Rick was my first national coach. I had Greg Browning as my first AHL coach, and he was more of he looked after me, kind of put his arm around my shoulder as a young kid. He would invite me down to like Queensland Blades training and things like that when I was 15, 16, just to get a bit of an experience about how it goes. So he was more of because I got the back end of Greg. I only played 1 year under Greg Browning, but I respected him so highly in what he did with that group. And then so Rick was my first national coach, and the first game was like, we're pressing, and it's like, okay. And then ever since it was, we're pressing, we're going to get the ball off the other team and we're going to score. And that's kind of the only way I ever knew how to play hockey under Rick. And it was so successful that we continued to do it.
A clear message.
Yeah. And like you said, everyone bought into it 98% of the time. And you go back and look probably at the stats, and I think we might have only lost, the team from Rick might have only lost like 3 or 4 games. Like, unfortunately, one of those was in London, which was the semi-final against Germany, which is obviously very disappointing. But yeah, the stats behind it would show that the way that we played was working, and why change something that's working, kind of thing. So, and he just demanded that from everyone, whether you were the like I said, whether you were the younger guy in the room, or you were Jamie or Mark Knowles, who had been in the group for not forever, but for a long time.
Yeah,
like they demanded this. He demanded the same out of everyone.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because he's gone off and he's done stuff at Freo, and he's now
done a lot.
At Wolves.
Yeah, he coaches Wolves. He helps out at Christchurch, the PSA hockey coach, or is some kind of involvement with them, and now on the selection panel with the Hockey Roos. So yeah,
just recently, yeah,
he's certainly been in and around, and I think I'll forever be grateful to have to being able to play underneath Rick as a player. It will always be something that I look really fondly back at and appreciate what he'd done, what he did for me as a player, for sure.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. Going on now,